question comes from Julie, and she suspects there's something going on with her spouse, either depression or something else. And she's concerned that her husband has had sleep issues for 10 years and has been feeling down, and that he's addicted to his healthy lifestyle, so much so that he puts his exercise program ahead of the kids and her. So, what advice do you have for Julie in this situation?
Well, gosh, that's a complicated question because there's many different components to what she just said. So let's talk about the sleep one first. I'm interested in whether the sleep issue is an actual physical issue, meaning he has sleep apnea, or he's uncomfortable, or his hormone levels are off, or whatever's going on for him that he's having sleep problems. Because having sleep problems can dramatically cause depression. Interestingly enough. Did you know that you'll actually die from lack of sleep before you die from lack of food?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Like we need sleep. It's very, very underrated in our society. So my question is there something going on with him physically that's interfering with his sleep and therefore causing his depression symptoms? The flip side of that is depression can cause sleep issues.
Right.
So if there's a chemical imbalance going on, if he's got some long-term depression stuff, it could dramatically interfere with his ability to sleep, or he sleeps too much, or he doesn't ever feel rested, and so on and so forth. So there's a cart and horse argument that would be easy to figure out. There's sleep centers, there's doctors, there's all sorts of tests and studies that he could determine whether this was a physical issue, and if it's not, then by definition it would be an emotional issue. Interestingly, the second part of that is the exercise component. Exercise, in actuality, can dramatically help with depression, but only for 24 hours. Getting your heart rate up for more than 45 minutes will improve and acts almost like an antidepressant. It'll improve your chemical levels. It balances everything out. It actually acts like an antidepressant. The problem with that, as a side note, is that people who are depressed, usually the last thing they want to do is exercise, so it doesn't tend to work for that. But it could be that he is self-medicating through exercise. So asking him to give up his exercise program isn't necessarily the answer either. So he's got, again, there's these components. There's the exercise component, the depression, and the sleep. They're all connected, I can almost guarantee. And so you would want to figure out which part is happening when, intervene at any of those. If in fact it's turned out that he does have a depressive disorder going on that's not caused by his sleep problems, but in actually a chemical imbalance, there's all sorts of things. I'm not a therapist that necessarily pushes meds, but I'm not against them either. And sometimes medication can make a dramatic difference and allow him just that room he needs to put his marriage back on top,
Right.
to make his marriage his priority.
Yeah, because I know we talk a lot about how important it is to make your marriage your number one priority, and then so many times a couple thinks, well, once we have kids, our kids are our number one priority, but that's actually not the case, right? I mean,
No,
can
it's
you
marriage
speak to that?
first. Sure, it's marriage first, kids second, job third, friends and family fourth, and so forth. So your marriage actually needs to be the number one priority.
And why is that?
Because if your marriage falls apart, it all falls apart, right? I mean,
Right.
Your kids won't thank you if you put them first and get a divorce. If your job won't, I know you have to work, but if you get a divorce, you're going to split everything in half anyway. Like, your marriage is the foundation of your entire life and home and financial situation and family. So people really, they miss their priorities and they don't recognize how important it is to put that first, even above his exercise regimen. But I get, again, if he's exercising because he's trying to keep his depression at bay, that's not going to help his marriage either. So there's a bunch of components in there that
Right.
he needs to be willing to look at and understand why he's doing those things. And there's various different ways he could do to treat those other than ignoring his marriage and putting all that first.
Awesome. Well, lots and lots for them to think about. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure.
If you'd like your question answered, please ask it in the comment box below, because this is a regular series and we want to help as many people as we can. And if you'd like even more powerful free relationship advice from Dr. Dana, click on the link below the video. Thanks so much for watching.
Talk to you soon.